If you're a little sick and tired of watching people compare these two cameras, the Action 6 and the Ace Pro 2 in ideal circumstances, this is the video for you. I'm going to be using today only the log formats within both of these cameras. Both cameras will be set to auto ISO of 6400 max. In this video today, expect the stress test of all stress tests. Despite it still being only 12 o'clock, it is nasty out there, and I'm excited to show you guys how both these perform in less than ideal circumstances. Without further ado, let's go. Looking at these two cameras, I really think that this is the sort of elements that these were designed for. These two cameras were built to be used in environments like this, on wet, cold, rainy days, in the bush. This is basically perfect environment to test and not something unrealistic like a night test. Why do I think the night tests in the city are unrealistic? I think it's just unrealistic based on the fact that these cameras were never designed to do this sort of work, right? So you're really bringing it into an element it was never designed for. Whereas this, I think there's going to be a lot more people looking to potentially use this camera to go into the woods like this. They're hiking, they're backpacking. So hopefully you appreciate this test. I had to bring out the rain pants today. We got the gaiters on, got the Solomon, whatever they are, X5s, I don't know. Anyways, let's go check out some falls today in the forest here. I think I'm on the right way, although this path doesn't necessarily look like the one that I'm familiar with. Now, as it starts to get a little dark here, how is this starting to look? It's one thing I'm really curious about. Have the shutter speed set to a minimum 1/200 or to prevent some of the shake. We're in the largest sensor mode, so that's Freeframe on Insta, and on the Action 6 we're in the 1/1 inch sensor mode. Looks really dark. I might have to actually crank the exposure here. And one of the things that is really kind of sucks with this Insta360 is that in this Freeframe mode you can't actually switch over to the color display LUT, so I'm just looking at completely gray footage, which is really hard to meter in my opinion. But anyways, let's bump up exposure. And hopefully it's not too noisy with this max 8000 ISO. And then we have both cameras set to a minimum 1/200 shutter speed in order to minimize the jitters that you get otherwise when using EIS, it's electronic stabilization within these cameras. Let's give you a little look this way, see what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, lovely day for a little hike. Feels good getting out here, honestly. It's rained practically every single day for almost 3 weeks now out here, with major floods in the Vancouver Lower Mainland region. I don't know if you're familiar at all with British Columbia, Canada, but that's where I am. I've had ND filter review that I've been planning to do for quite some time now, and as you can see, haven't really had ND filter weather, but we're gonna try and make some use of the ND filter today over at the falls. Try and create some nice shots, well, still images anyways. So now here's where we're running into a little bit of an issue. I walked over to the point where I thought the waterfall was, but it turns out it's just a stream in the area. So now I got to figure out where the access point is to potentially get to this waterfall. Huh. Look how high that is. Looks like it's about to go over the edge. Whoa, what is this?
I've switched over the action so that I can close focus on this. Look at that. Well, after trying to find the falls for a good 20 minutes walking through the brush, I realized it's just totally washed out, unfortunately. Oh, so we're gonna go try and find a new spot. Not much to really see, unfortunately, here. And this trail is so overrun. Although this spot's not too bad compared to what I've walked through the last little bit. Look at my pants. Whoa, slippery. Oh, I got something stuck in my finger. That's like this one pointy tree. I think it's this thing. I think I got one of those stuck in my finger right now, my thumb. Oh, honestly, some eye protection would be pretty nice walking through here. Look at this, all at eye level. Oh, got a few branches hit me in my eyes already. Oh, this trail sucks. If you can call it a trail. Jeez. Now see, this is why you bring an action camera, not a mirrorless camera like I have in my backpack that's put away. Wow, I really came out at a different spot. So I started way over there. If you can see the car there, that's where I started out. And this is where I ended up because there's no proper path. I think right now is a pretty good opportunity to see how both of these compare when we're in a pretty humid and wet environment, just to see how much water can bounce off these lenses here. Seems like we have a bit more fogging actually on the Insta compared to the DJI camera. Let's see if I wipe this, if that improves it at all. I don't think the fogging is under the lens. Just shooting in 4K right now. 4K 30, shouldn't be overheating the camera all that much. Also, looking at the Insta360, it's in pure gray right now because it's in that iLog, so I can't necessarily see what sort of contrast is showing on the screen compared to using this Action 6 where I can see that while in D-Log M. I've had both cameras set now to go as high as 6400 within the tree line, so you'll have a pretty good idea how exactly the ISO works in comparison. Now I've had the Action 6 at f2.8 almost the whole day because it is in that aperture priority mode, and that pretty well just stays exactly at 2.8 throughout the daytime until you get into night. So this will actually be at a bit of a disadvantage compared to the 2.6 on the Ace Pro 2, which has like a fixed aperture of 2.6. So it does get a little bit of an advantage there. Unfortunately, based on the weather here, I can't even think about putting on my macro lens on this Action 6, otherwise it could potentially ruin the camera. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys watched my last video where I compared these two cameras. I really recommend you go check that video out. I did some pretty deep testing between these two, and these videos take a lot of time to make, putting the side-by-sides together and all the different titles and stuff and syncing the audio. So please like and subscribe. It means a lot for all the efforts I put into this. Your support really, really means a lot to me. But anyways, going back to that comparison, I was really surprised with how the Ace Pro 2, in the Freeframe mode, just how wide it was, the perspective that it offered. I can understand why a little more now, why people are so upset about the 1/1 inch sensor mode and thinking that it's a scam. I mean, in a sense, I sort of understand what you mean based on it just being a little bit taller, and like when shooting 16:9 video is actually a little less than what we got on the Action 5. So that's one thing to keep in mind. They said right from the start that this is for people that want to repurpose their work for vertical. So yeah, you do get a bit more on the vertical, but yeah, that Insta360 Freeframe mode is really quite nice. As someone who mostly shoots open gate style content or 9x16, I have to say that I really like the look that it offers with this. Well guys, how do you think both these compared with one another? You know what's funny? Actually, we're just recording this outro. The Insta360 Ace Pro 2 just died, and the Action 6 is still at 46%. Pretty amazing, the battery life on this camera. So that is a major downside with this Insta360. You have much less battery life than the Action 6, with the Action 6 still having 48% battery life at the time of the shut off. Now, how did both of these compare with one another? Do you think one really excelled over the other in these environments? I hope this realistic look at both these cameras was useful to you, and let me know which of the logs you preferred. Do you prefer the more contrasty log LUT that's on the Action 6, or do you prefer the more flatter LUT that comes with the Ace Pro 2? If you guys have any interest at all in me comparing the normal modes on these cameras, please let me know. I can compare the two normal modes potentially against the log profiles to see if we get a little more highlight recovery and shadow detail potentially in these cameras. Lots of tests to be made. Just let me know what you want to see, and I'll do my best to try and make it happen for you guys. If you're interested in any of the products mentioned today, I have links in the description. Please go check out those links. It would mean a lot to me if you bought through there. It supports this channel and allows me to buy cameras like this Insta360 Ace Pro 2 that I can now offer comparisons to. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I need to get inside and have a shower and soaks. All right, guys, take care. Bye.